Wladimir Klitschko has made his first public response after his loss and about his loss to Tyson Fury. The only problem for English people, or people that can only speak English, is that it's in German, so you have to translate it. So what I've done is I've translated it into English and I've read through it, and he doesn't go into too much detail. He basically just says he couldn't show his full potential during the fight. I think that's pretty much all you're gonna get out of Wladimir Klitschko. He's not the kind of guy to make excuses. Only thing I can take away from saying that he's not showed his full potential and what I've read through reading what his response is he thinks maybe his preparations weren't as good as they could have been. Maybe he was making mistakes and poor judgments in what he was doing training for this, and maybe he feels like he wasn't being aggressive enough and during the fight to actually beat Tyson Fury. And maybe he wasn't putting everything on the line to actually beat Tyson Fury. Maybe he thought he could just edge it, and maybe he thought he was just edging in the scorecards. He goes on to talk about he's not lost for 11 years, and his last loss was to Lehman Brewster, the American champion. And he says he went away after that loss, he analysed everything he'd done wrong, and he didn't just make a reflex decision to change things. He analysed things, he analysed what he'd done wrong, he analysed his losses, and he decided to make a decision of things he needed to change. And that's when he brought in Emmanuel. Actually, to tell you the truth, he already had Emmanuel Stewart when he lost to Lehman Brewster. He must have done that in accordance to Corey Sanders' fight. But yeah, he pretty much changed his trainer. He changed his training, he says, his diet, his head movement, his footwork. After the fight, after the losses he sustained to Corey Sanders and Lehman Brewster. So it sounds like he's also said he's had a lot of sleepless nights. He's had a tough time, basically because he feels that it was him that made the mistake in losing. It's not that he lost and he feels he's just sad because he was a beaten man. He feels like it was his mistakes that ended up him losing his belts to Tyson Fury, and he feels like it could have been prevented from what I've read. So it sounds like he's going to be analysing his fight, or he already has been analysing his fight, and he's going to be making changes. And I did a video before on things I thought he could change, and from what he's saying he changed previously, I think he'd do a lot better with a proper trainer. Jonathan Banks was trained by Emmanuel Stewart, probably picked up a lot from Emmanuel Stewart, but when he was in the corner against Tyson Fury, he couldn't get through to Wladimir Klitschko. Wladimir Klitschko wasn't listening to him, wasn't looking at him. Jonathan Banks should have done what Emmanuel Stewart did against Eddie Chambers. I can't remember who all the other fights he did it was. He came in right in front of Wladimir Klitschko and he's pretty much shouting at him, hitting him, and get a reaction out of Wladimir, make sure he's listening. And yeah, if Wladimir Klitschko would listen and he would change, and he had that drilled into him from someone that was older than him, someone that he respected, and that was respected in boxing as the best trainer in the world. So I think Wladimir Klitschko really needs to look for another trainer instead of Jonathan Banks. I think that's a big problem. If you're not listening to a trainer, there's no point of having him. It doesn't matter what advice he's given you. If you don't listen, there's no point of having him. And personally, I don't think Jonathan Banks trains Wladimir Klitschko. He's there. I think he's just a trainer in name only, and I think Wladimir Klitschko does whatever the hell he wants and organises his training and everything himself, and comes up with his own game plan to the fight. And he needs someone else. He needs someone that he can discuss the problems with watching back the Tyson Fury fight. Yeah, he's got his brother, but he needs somebody else in there as well, and maybe to reassure him that what he's seeing he's doing wrong, he's seeing wrong, and it's right, what he needs to change. Someone that will agree with him and reinforce that belief into him that he needs to make these changes. And I don't think Jonathan Banks is the right person to do it. I think he respects Jonathan Banks and likes him, but he just doesn't respect him enough or listen to him enough or think he's confident enough. And that's just my personal opinion. That's what I thought when I was watching the fight against Tyson Fury and Jonathan Banks was talking to him. He was talking quietly. It didn't seem like he didn't get in the ring and look right in front of Wladimir Klitschko and was shouting at him and trying to get him to go out there and change what he was doing. He was just kind of at the side, in between the ropes, whispering to him in the corner, but not whispering to him, but you know what I mean. Other things I think he can change is his sparring partners. I think the sparring partners I had them written down somewhere actually. Can't find them right now. I had them written down when I did my last video. But they were tall guys, same size as Tyson Fury or bigger than Tyson Fury. One of them was over 300 pounds, but they're too slow. Tyson Fury's not a slow fighter. It would be better to get smaller guys if they were faster, or even a freakishly small cruiserweight that's good on his feet. I think it's important you get sparring partners with longer reach than Wladimir Klitschko and about the same height as Wladimir Klitschko with fast footwork. That's what I think. I don't think his sparring partners were suitable for Tyson Fury at all. I thought they were too slow. They weren't skilled enough, and some of them were just too big. I remember watching a documentary with some guy. It was supposed to be Fraser's son, but it wasn't Fraser's son at all. It was someone Joe Fraser trained as a heavyweight. Other things I think you could maybe change. That's about it. Just looking at the videos with a new trainer, because he needs a new trainer, not just to look through the videos and find the faults and make the adjustments to his style, and maybe throw uppercuts or hooks in the inside. Wladimir Klitschko used to throw left-hand hooks when he got into the clinches or when he was coming out of the clinches. He doesn't do that anymore. He doesn't fight as aggressively as he used to 10 years ago. He could make some changes that he needs to make against Tyson Fury. And he needs different sparring partners as well. I think there's going to be a massive improvement in Wladimir Klitschko for this next fight. I think he's going to analyse this well. Is Wladimir Klitschko in decline? Yeah, I think so. Just by looking at the Bryant Jennings fight, even if you exclude the Tyson Fury fight, the only way I'll say Wladimir Klitschko maybe isn't in decline, and by the way, he's going to be 40 when he fights Tyson Fury next, is if Bryant Jennings this Saturday beats Luis Ortiz quite soundly. If Luis Ortiz outboxes and knocks out Bryant Jennings, then I think Wladimir Klitschko is definitely in decline, because the old Wladimir Klitschko would have dealt with Bryant Jennings in quite easily. It's hard to say that now because Bryant Jennings only lost one fight, and it was to the world champion Wladimir Klitschko. But if he goes on and his career is not that successful, then it does say something maybe about Wladimir Klitschko when he was fighting Bryant Jennings. But we'll see. I'm looking forward to this fight. I'm looking forward to maybe hearing more from Wladimir Klitschko, because Jonathan Banks pretty much isn't saying anything really helpful. He just says, well, Wladimir Klitschko wasn't throwing enough punches. That's all the problem is. Next fight he'll be throwing more punches and he'll win the fight. So anyway, I'm looking forward to the Tyson Fury versus Wladimir Klitschko fight. I'm expecting big things from Wladimir Klitschko. And I'm expecting obviously changes from Tyson Fury as well. So good luck to both of them.